Getting people to tell the full truth about your app is kind of tricky because people will want to protect their relationships with you and they'll be more interested in saying like, oh, your app is really good, or let me brush the things under the rug that I think are bad about it. In this video, we'll talk about why that's the case from a behavioral economic standpoint. We'll talk about what you can do about that, and then we'll talk about how you can build better apps going forward. Stick around. To understand why people lie, we're going to have to introduce the concept of revealed preferences. Revealed preferences is an economic theory that states that if an item's price and a person's income is held constant, their behavior will be the best indicator of their preferences. In other words, what that means is that if you have a budget B and there are two items in front of you, item A and item B, and you choose item B over item A, if those all three remain constant in the future, if you were making the same decision, you should always prefer item B. Now, obviously, this doesn't really fully work in the real world because preferences change. What if item B and item A are a jacket and it's wintertime versus summer? When you first collected the data, being able to say like, oh, well, they will always prefer the sunglasses over the jacket only really applies to sunny days. But the main benefit of a theory like this is to say that consumer behavior is really important and stated preferences don't always align with the revealed preferences of people. In fact, I have a very real story about this. When I first launched my app Stenography as a V1, it was a highlight a bunch of code, send it off to the server type application. When I gave that to people, they were like, this is great. This is great. I was doing customer discovery, and some of those customers were my friends. Some people were people that were friends of friends who I got introduced to. And I didn't hear a lot of feedback that was actually honest and helpful. And it wasn't because these people weren't being honest and helpful with their feedback. They were just interested in something different, which is a relationship to protect the other people. So to move to V2, I realized that I would need to look at something a little bit harsher. I would need to look at data. I would need to have a honest conversation between me and my app to understand where people are getting held up and how to break those bottlenecks, because people themselves weren't going to tell me. Ignoring compliments should be easy, but it's not. We crave validation, and as such are often tricked into registering compliments as reliable data instead of vacuous fibs. Sometimes it's easier to spot the symptoms than it is to notice the sneaky compliment itself. Every time you talk to someone, you should be asking at least one question that has the potential to destroy your currently imagined business. By being creatures that crave social validation, we don't always make the best product or app that we could come up with, because we'll be more interested in protecting the idea more so than the actual success of the idea, which would require sometimes for it to be killed off. In a previous video, I discussed how developing is in a really good place right now because there's so much good technology that developers can buy off of the shelf, but that's not the full picture. A lot of these companies continue to exist because they need to. They are paying for people's bills. They're in line to get more money from VCs and have just completed their Series A or Series B or what have you. And they're stuck in golden handcuffs. And the people who work there are stuck in golden handcuffs. And the courage to say like, hey, maybe our product isn't working is a really hard thing to do. The important takeaway is to trust data over words, but realize that data can also be construed into narratives. It's important to look at data as objectively as you possibly can and make the best decision, the best judgment call with the data that you have at hand. So, my dear audience, now that we know this, what should we build? Or I guess more importantly, what shouldn't we build? I'm going to propose three ideas that have been helpful to me in building Stenography and might be helpful to you as well. The apps that you make should be impossibly easy to interface with. This will decrease overall noise in your system and create a easy and understandable feedback loop for both you and your users. For the first version of your app, simplify, simplify, simplify. It's better to have the simple version of the app and then add features slowly over time given user demand. It's tempting to just kind of add a million features to an app, to a product, and not really know why you're doing it. But if you're able to call that urge before it happens, you'll end up with a stronger app, funnily enough. And finally, and I think this is the most important, you want to create a small and fast feedback loop. If your data takes months to get back in, or you need a bunch of conditionals to get your data into the right position, you should maybe be interested in thinking about how can I turn my feedback loop into something smaller and shorter. The main benefit of this is that you'll be able to unlock the ability to see where your system is weak very quickly, and then very quickly be able to take action against that. So in sum, remember that revealed preferences are what happens when items are held constant at a price and people have a constant income. The takeaway for this video is that revealed preferences give us the ability to understand consumer behavior through their actions as opposed to through their words. Also remember that people will lie directly to your face. The reason that they're lying isn't to be a liar. The reason that they're lying is to protect the relationship of you and them. And you can't really trust that your customer discovery process is going to reveal this data to you. Ideally, you should be able to keep distance from the feedback for your app and the things that you are building, and you should be able to try and keep a clear and objective level head of the things that you are building. Finally, you want to build simple apps with very small and fast feedback loops. The advantages of this are numerous, but the list really begins with the ability to very quickly take action on something that you think could be a critical loss to your system. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you want to see what a V2 looks like, check out stenography in the description below. And if you want to understand why you might need a flywheel for your business to be successful, click this video here or here. I actually don't know where it's going to be. This is over here, I think. I think I get to choose. So wherever the video is, just click it. Thank you for watching. I've been Bram. You've been you. Have a good day.